Your boy again, Alpha Leo, handsome Cochito as usual. So I'm bringing you an exclusive interview concerning Osimhen's transfer saga, the transfer madness, and I think this will wrap it up because we've moved on. The transfer window is closed and we need to put an icing on the cake to tell you what really transpired, what happened about Osimhen's issue. So with me, you can see I have a veteran, a journalist, the media officer of the Flying Eagles under 20. I would say the former media officer of the Flying Eagles under 20 that has a very, very close relationship with Victor Osimhen, V09 in Napoli. In fact, yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, he had a conversation with Osimhen before the European transfer window closed. So this is an exclusive interview and it's going to give you the lowdown about what transpired about Osimhen, Napoli, Osimhen's agent, Chelsea, and release clause, contract renewal, and all the nitty-gritties about Osimhen's transfer madness. I'm not happy as a Chelsea fan, but I think he's glad as an Arsenal fan because he already go and check his Facebook page. I would like him to introduce himself to you guys. He has a lot of followers. He's my mentor. He has been on this journey like forever. So I'll keep quiet. I will let him to speak and tell you what really transpired. He will tell you what his position is, his experience with Osimhen before he grew it through the ranks. He became the African Footballer of the Year. He signed a renewal contract with Napoli. He's currently, downcasted. He's not happy. I read on Twitter, John Ogu has been talking about what happened this morning. Igalo has talked about Osimhen. All of us Nigerians were encouraging the boy, the lad. He has done well, and he's just a face. He will pass through it, and he will even come back again to win more laurel. So over to you. His name is Wale. Welcome, Wale Ajayi. So over to him. He worked in AIT, Africa Independent Television. So let him introduce himself. So over to you.
Well, my name is Wale Ajayi. I used to be a sports journalist while I was in Nigeria. Of course, I'm in Canada now, so that's why I met Fisayo.
Yes.
Handsome Cochito. Yeah, I love that. So in 2016, I was the media officer of the Nigerian national team. Between 2015 and 2016, Victor Osimhen was playing for the Flying Eagles. Of course, you know that he was part of the under-17 team that went with Amunike to Chile. They won the under-17 World Cup. Osimhen scored 10 goals, and it was the highest goal scorer. Of course, in fact, it's been the highest goal scorer in the history of the under-17 World Cup. So after the under-15, he came into the under-20 national team. Emmanuel Amunike was the coach, and of course I was the chief media officer. And of course, you know that Osimhen at that time came into the team alongside the likes of Samuel Chukwueze, the likes of Ojo Okonkwo, the likes of Kingsley Michael, the likes of Osama. There are so many of them. Wonderful, fantastic footballers. Unfortunately, that team did not qualify for the World Cup. So we lost to Sudan in Lagos after we had beaten the Sudanese national team in Khartoum by 3 goals to 2. So
I remember.
it's a sad one, but
it was heartbreaking.
On that day, I remember I sat on the pitch after the match and I shed tears. And of course, that was 2016. It was after that failure to qualify for the World Cup that I made up my mind that I was going to leave Nigeria, because I felt that the then president of Nigerian Football Federation, Amaju Melvin Pinnick, and of course his board members did not manage the boys well. That is the best under-20 national team ever assembled in Nigeria, because those boys could have gone to the World Cup and they would have won the World Cup easily.
Under-20 World Cup.
Under-20 World Cup. Those boys were just fantastic. But something happened. On the eve of the match against Sudan, the boys refused to train because the NFF was owing them backlog of match bonuses and allowances, and so that was why eventually they went to play Sudan in that match. And of course, on that day it was heavy rainfall in Lagos, and of course the downpour affected the boys, and we eventually lost that match.
That was in 2016 or 2017?
2016, I remember vividly because I eventually left Nigeria. I relocated my family in 2017 because of the anger that came out of that. But then let's come to Victor Osimhen.
Yes.
I want to erase a perception. There's a very bad perception going around. Nigerians are saying that Victor Osimhen is very stubborn. I want us to work on that perception. Yeah, I want us to work on that perception. Victor Osimhen is hungry. He's angry, but he's not stubborn. Osimhen is not arrogant. Osimhen is the finest footballer you will see, because Osimhen is one player that wants to win. Even in a training match, Osimhen wants to win matches. Osimhen does not know if there's a training match or if it's a friendly match. Osimhen just wants to win matches. So I think the reason why you see Osimhen looking so arrogant, or perhaps you think that Osimhen is arrogant, is because Osimhen is always wanting to win. He's a champion. It's not somebody that wants to be seen as a failure. You understand? So majority of what has happened in the past, especially with what happened with Finidi George, many are saying
we are judgmental about
it. I hate the sentiment when people say it's because he insulted Finidi George.
He's not getting bad luck right now.
That's why he's getting bad luck. People, those are sentiments. Osimhen, there's nothing like bad luck. If Osimhen wanted to sign for Al Ahly, he would have signed. If he wanted to go to Chelsea, he would have gone there.
He would have taken a pay cut?
Yeah, he would have, yes, if he wanted to take a pay cut. Sterling took a pay cut to come to Arsenal.
But that was a ridiculous offer from Chelsea.
Yes, it was ridiculous. We'll get to that point. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty of what happened on that day on the transfer window, because I talked to him, I talked to his guys, I talked to most of the guys. And of course, I know that it got to a point where Osimhen actually wanted to move, because I think let's go back. The biggest mistake Osimhen made in all of this is the fact that he decided to extend his contract by 2 years with Napoli. Osimhen and Napoli had come to a conclusion where they agreed that Osimhen said he wanted to leave Napoli. He should have stand on his ground that he was going to leave Napoli without signing an extension to his contract. For him to have gone ahead to sign an extension to that contract, that is why Osimhen eventually found himself in what he found himself.
In this mess right now.
That is big mess, total mess. I am so disappointed with the agent of Victor Osimhen, Calenda. Calenda has not been able to manage the player. He has not been able to manage the image of the player. There were so many things that happened between Osimhen and Napoli. The old things that went on social media, the insult on social media, the threat from Osimhen that he was going to leave Napoli, he was going to do this, he was going to sue them. All those issues culminated in what now led to where we are today. Now the management of Napoli became so angry.
You just said what has always been on my mind, that Osimhen is meant to sack or fire
his agent. Calendar should be sent back in here
ASAP, because as at on Friday, Al Ahly was waiting for Osimhen for a decision. Chelsea was improving their offers.
They were adding to their offers.
If I'm the agent of Osimhen that day on Friday, I will give Chelsea a deadline like 12 p.m. If you don't give me your last offer, then I'm going to Saudi. That's how an agent should behave. You are an advisor. When you advise the clubs that if you are really serious about this boy, you want this lad, right? Give me your last offer. Then I will see if I will make my decision and move. As at 20 minutes to the transfer window that will close, they didn't even give any offer.
Let me make a clarification. Now, what most people do not understand, there was something that happened on the day. Now, what's the name? Al Ahly Football Club of Saudi Arabia. They've been on Osimhen for 1 week, about 2 weeks before the close of the window. They've been discussing with Osimhen. They've been discussing with his agent. Now, Osimhen had an option 1 and option 2. Now, his first option is he wants to remain in Europe. Osimhen had already had a personal agreement with Paris Saint-Germain That was done about 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, yes.
They had personal agreement, everything. Everybody thought that Osimhen was going to PSG. But along the line, Napoli, after agreeing everything with Paris Saint-Germain, came up with another request. They said they wanted Kane, one of the midfielders of PSG, to join Napoli.
Okay.
Now Paris Saint-Germain now said, we cannot give you our midfielder. The agreement is outright saying we wanted you to sell Osimhen to us and we pay cash. That was the agreement. So how suddenly are you coming to say now that you needed a player from Napoli from Paris Saint-Germain? So PSG said they are not interested in doing that deal, and they decided to pull out of the deal. So it was when PSG eventually pulled out of the deal that Osimhen now decided to make himself available to other clubs.
Wow.
You understand? So now there are two things involved. Because Osimhen has an extension of his contract. Let me make you guys understand one thing. I'm a football agent. I'm an NFF licensed, FIFA licensed football agent. So I know most of the nitty-gritties. I know what is involved.
Thank you so much. So now,
yeah,
you guys, can you hear that?
Yeah.
He's also a football agent.
Yes, I'm an agent.
So he can walk in the shoes of Calendar.
Yes.
So if you are the agent of Osimhen, what would you have advised Osimhen on that transfer deadline day?
So what I would have advised Osimhen was for him to, because it's about the player. The player wants to stay in Europe. Now, the options in Europe are not too many. There was no club at that time that was willing to pay even 90 million pounds. No club was willing to pay 90 million pounds. Okay. I understand that PSG got up to 75 million pounds. Okay. You understand? So it got to a point when Napoli knew that there was nobody that was coming forward with 90 million pounds. Now, what happened was the European club started to know that De Laurentiis, the owner of Napoli, was going to take anything between 70 to 80 million pounds. When Al Ali came up with 65 million pounds and they accepted the offer. So when people knew that Napoli has accepted the 65 million from Al Ali, now other clubs started showing interest. That was when Chelsea came. Now, initially, Chelsea was discussing a loan deal. Chelsea wanted to tie the Osimhen deal with the Lukaku deal. But Napoli told them there is no way you can tie both deals together. These are two superstars. We are going to pay money. You understand? Napoli said we are going to pay money to take Lukaku. Give us your price. They said 30 million. Napoli deposited 30 million pounds and they took Lukaku. Now, immediately Lukaku was out of the way. Lukaku went 1 day before the close of the window. If they were able to see the Lukaku deal maybe 2 or 3 days before, it would have been better. But because Lukaku went 1 day before the close of the window, it was on the day of the closing of the window that they now decided to sit down and start negotiating Osimhen. Now, you know what Chelsea did? Chelsea felt that at that point, because you see, I think the mistake Osimhen made was making Chelsea understand that he only wants to be in Europe.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
Because Chelsea now knew that whether Osimhen likes, whether Napoli likes it or not, Osimhen wants to be in Europe. He will sign for them. You understand? Because at that point the options were few. Arsenal was no longer interested. Paris Saint-Germain was out of the deal. It was only Chelsea that was left in Europe that wanted to sign Osimhen. So the Saudi club, they left their 65 million pounds on the table. De Laurentiis, the owner of Napoli, told Osimhen to go and negotiate with any of the two clubs. So Osimhen discussed personal terms with the Saudi club. They offered 600,000 euros per week.
Did he agree?
Yeah, he accepted 600,000 euros.
Osimhen agreed with Al Ali.
With Al Ali, yes, 600,000 euros per week. He accepted that offer. There was an agreement with Al Ali. In fact, they gave him the papers on the table. He has the papers. He has agreed with it. He was ready. Yeah.
The deal he just mentioned now is after tax.
Yes, after tax, net 600,000
pounds in Saudi.
There's no tax, so it's 600,000 euros a week for Osimhen. Now that is a mega deal. That was a mega deal, and for me, I felt that Osimhen should have grabbed that and moved to Saudi. But because the young man That is why you cannot blame the agent completely, because you never know what the agent was also talking with Osimhen. Okay. Because at that point, everybody, even Nigerians, his friends, everybody was calling him go to Saudi. But
even
Osimhen
myself, I would advise him to go to Saudi.
Osimhen said, I'm 25 years old. I still want to play the Champions League. I still want to be in Europe. I still want to enjoy the glamour of the European League. So that was why he said he wanted to discuss with Chelsea. So he kept discussing with Chelsea. The problem is Chelsea kept giving him hope. They made him understand that there's a possibility that this deal can be done. I think where Osimhen made a mistake was not giving Chelsea a deadline. There should have been a deadline where you say, if you cannot put your money on the table at this point in time, I am moving. Now we got to hear along the line that Chelsea was offering 350,000 euros per week, but you won't believe it. All we eventually got to know was the highest Chelsea offered was 150,000 pounds a week
for a current African
footballer of the year, a player that was on 280,000 euros a week in Napoli. After tax. Even without tax, because they don't tax. Even in Italy, they don't take tax.
Number 8 best player.
Yes, the 8th best player on Ballon d'Or. You understand? So it's a shame. It's ridiculous. Very ridiculous that Chelsea had to reduce Osimhen to that level. But I think that the problem is Osimhen's, because Osimhen made himself look cheap to Chelsea. Yeah, you don't make them understand that without them you cannot exist.
Exactly.
You understand? Because he made them understand that he wants to be in Europe, he wants to play for Chelsea, and people like John Obi Mikel did not also help matters. All those guys did not help matters because they were putting too much pressure on the shoulder of that young man at a time when they were supposed to come and advise him and support him to play football.
Even called him.
Yeah, those guys were supposed to come around, those ex-internationals were supposed to come around him, advise him and tell him the best decision that is best for his football. But everybody just wanted him to go to Chelsea because they once played for Chelsea. Now,
so, Wale, what's the solution going forward now?
Now, the solution going forward is this. I must tell you, it's a very difficult situation. The situation is dicey for Osimhen because, one, Osimhen signed an extension to his contract with Napoli, meaning that he is going to spend the next 2 years with Napoli. Now, what it means is that after this season, now it's so dicey because for the first season, Napoli will decide his fate.
Right now, he has been frozen out.
Now he has been frozen out. The number 9 jersey has been taken away from him. It's not in their lineup. It's not in their team.
Does he have any hope in January?
So what it means?
Let's assume he's not playing from now to January.
If he's not playing from now to January, his value will reduce. His value will go down drastically. Now, what will happen is that Napoli still has a say over him because there's an existing 2 years contract. By January, he cannot walk away. By January, he cannot negotiate a contract. Napoli will still have to negotiate the contract for him. True. You understand? So what it means too is that Osimhen is still under the whims and caprices of Napoli. So he has to obey Napoli for the next 1 year. After the next 1 year, when he gets to the final year of his contract, then we can now start saying, okay, even the final year of his contract too, Napoli still has the superior say because it's not free. He signed 2 years extension. So it is when. See, let me tell you one thing. You saw what Kylian Mbappe did to Paris Saint-Germain. That is what Osimhen should have done to Napoli. Kylian Mbappe, at a point when Madrid came and Madrid was negotiating, PSG was making it look unachievable for Madrid. They were raising the money. So he had an agreement. He had an agreement with Madrid and told them, go and wait. I will wait and I will see out my contract. He saw out his contract and he left for free. He left PSG and went to Madrid. So he negotiated his deal directly. That is what Osimhen should have done with Napoli. But unfortunately, he didn't do that. He went and did an extension to his contract and he became a puppet to Napoli because they had to decide his future.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You know, we have like 2 days to the end of the transfer window with Saudi Arabia, and Turkey and Holland. So
it's not 2 days, it's closing on Monday.
Yeah. So is there any hope or do you hear any speculation that maybe you can explore other options apart from maybe Saudi, maybe another option in Turkey or somewhere else?
Yeah, I think you can still go to Turkey, but There's no club in Turkey as we speak that is willing to put that kind of money down. There's no club in Turkey that is willing to give Osimhen, £200,000 a week, 200,000 euros a week. They don't have that money. The only place where you can get a club that can do that is in Saudi Arabia. I hope somebody in Saudi can come.
Can they reignite the Saudi deal now?
No.
Michael Menalo is the head of Saudi delegation that wants to ensure that Osimhen goes to Al Ahly. Can Osimhen and the agent talk to Michael Menalo to figure out other clubs in Saudi?
The problem with Al Ahly is that Al Ahly there's what we call foreign players quota. They've exhausted their foreign player quota. That was why at that point they were looking at either Osimhen or Ivan Toney. So they needed to take just one. There was no way they could sign two players. You understand? So immediately Osimhen knew that was the option. Because they felt that Osimhen was number one option. Ivan Toney was option 2. You understand? So when they discovered that Osimhen was waiting on Chelsea, they quickly went up and rounded up the deal with Ivan Toney. So what it means is that Al Ahly is completely out of the picture as it stands.
Right now?
Yes, they are out of it now. They cannot sign him because as it is, they have signed. They've met their quota of foreign players. So the only clubs. The other clubs like Al Ittihad, Al Nassr, all those ones could now still come in. If Al Hilal, if any of them is interested and they think that they need a striker, they can come and negotiate. But again, they now discover that Osimhen is desperate. You know the funny thing, Osimhen is desperate. Napoli is not desperate.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
For Napoli, they are not willing to. If you give them anything less, they will not take.
Yes.
But Osimhen will be ready to take anything just to leave Napoli. You understand?
Yeah.
That is where the problem lies. Because even if Osimhen say, okay, I will go to this club, Napoli will say they've not met our terms, you are not selling.
So guys, please like, subscribe and share. Tag Osimhen, let him know. And before we go, I want him to talk directly to Osimhen and advise him. You know, this Osimhen guy is your boy. He slept in your house. He knows you inside out. You know him inside out. What's the advice you give him now? What's the words of encouragement you're going to give him now as we wrap up this conversation?
Well, Victor, you know that I will always tell you the truth. We met at the last Nations Cup in AFCON in Abidjan, and of course, I told you that Osimhen, the biggest problem you have is that you need to have a good media advisor, one, and of course, you also need to have an agent who understands the game and who can be able to advise you on what to do at the right time. I think that the first thing you should do, Victor Osimhen, is to sack your agent. Calendar has not helped you in any way. In fact, the reason why you are where you are today in this problem today is because your agent did not advise you on what to do at the right time. Because I felt that immediately you discover at 1 hour to the close of the window that Chelsea was not ready to do business, you should have signed that deal with the Saudi club. Again, let me also let our audience know that as at that time, when the Saudi club went back to Napoli and said, we are ready to do the deal with Osimhen.
And they increased the amount.
Napoli increased the amount from 65 million pounds to 80 million pounds. You understand? They increased the money on the dot, just about 1 hour to the close of the window to 80 million pounds. And that was why the Saudi club immediately pulled out and went for Ivan Toney. So Osimhen should look for a better agent. He should look for somebody who can be able to move him out of this dust, because it's not the best of time, I understand. But again, for some of us who believe in your talent and who have always been with you, who have always supported you, I think that if you can endure the tide till January, I'm sure that some other big clubs in the EPL will come for you. The likes of Arsenal and of course the likes of perhaps Liverpool. I know Liverpool have too many.
Because you are an Arsenal fan.
I hope that Arsenal will come for you in January, and I'm sure that
he's coming to Chelsea. Don't worry. And I'm also the agent like Victor Moses, Mikel Obi, like Didier Drogba.
You want him to go to Chelsea?
Yes. You guys don't need Osimhen.
No, if Chelsea really want to sign Osimhen, they should put big money on the table. You cannot be offering Osimhen £150,000.
It does not make sense.
When the likes of even the Sancho they took away from Manchester United. I understand that Sancho was on 200
now.
So they are paying Sancho 200 now. So why will you Sterling? Arsenal took Sterling from Chelsea. Arsenal will be paying 100,000 from his money, while Chelsea will still be paying the remaining 140,000. So that means that young man was collecting over 240,000 from Chelsea. Why will you offer Osimhen 150,000?
That doesn't make sense.
No, that is
so our owners, you are hearing, Osimhen wants to come to the club, and if you don't pay big money, good money, you will lose a gem. You watch our game today, right?
Yeah.
Nicola Jackson one-on-one with the keeper, he lost that goal. Right? If you want to vie for top 4 position, you need a world-class striker like Osimhen.
Yeah.
Or not, or else you'll be languishing in the Conference League like we are playing. Arsenal, they have a template, right? They have investment they've done, and they are buying good players, right? Manchester City, they bought Alvarez. You know how much they sold the guy? They bought Erling Haaland. He scored an hat-trick. We have to be serious, Chelsea fans and Chelsea owners, the directors, right? In fact, bottom line, sack one sporting director. Let us have only one, not 2. Because they are conflicting interests.
Yeah.
But if you have one person like Marina, you make decision. And for us now, you guys played draw yesterday. What happened?
Yeah, it was because of the red card. If you watch the match against Brighton, Arsenal dominated from beginning to that point when Declan Rice got the red card. Even when he got the red card, we see our 2 shots on goal compared to their 1 shot on goal. So it happens. That is football for you. We're not going to win all matches. I don't expect us to win all the matches. But again, I am looking at a situation where even when we don't win, we should get a draw. And for us, the first few matches have been so dicey. Of course, we're going to play Tottenham Hotspur. We're going to play Man City.
Yes.
We have started with our difficult matches. I hope we are able to scale these ones, because you see, when you start with your difficult matches, by the time you start playing the lesser teams, you just begin to pick points and count points. So I mean, it's not yet time for us to lose hope. We drew yesterday. We didn't lose even with 10 men. There are not many teams that will play Brighton with 10 men and win. I mean,
and even play draw.
Yeah, get a draw. Yeah. So Man U a week earlier lost to Brighton, and so we are going to the next match against Tottenham Hotspur. We are going to London, the London Stadium, and I know that against Tottenham we know how to get our.
So finally, will you win the league this season?
Yeah, we have a chance of winning the league. It seems it's looking more like our season, because let me tell you one thing that most people do not know. Once Man City loses Haaland, it's all over for Man City.
Yes.
Yeah, once they lose Haaland, Alvarez is not there. Even if they sign a striker today to complement Haaland, once they lose Haaland, Man City is gone.
Thank you, Wale Ajayi, former media officer of the Nigeria Football Federation of the Flying Goose Under 20.
Yeah.
And he's also a football agent.
I'm a football agent. I'm a match commissioner. Anytime I go to Nigeria today, I have matches waiting for me to commission.
He has traveled around the world.
Yeah.
And we are live in Canada.
Yeah.
He knows Osimhen one-on-one. Osimhen is his boy. And this video that we just made now, forward it right to Osimhen. Let him listen to the brotherly advice that Wale Ajayi has shared. Osimhen needs to change his agents. Yeah. He needs to surround himself with people of ideas, of wisdom that will advise him on the next step to take, so that this similar thing will not happen in the nearest future.
So
Thank you, guys.
Very soon I will come sit down with you again and we'll discuss the Nigerian national team, the Super Eagles, the coach, Labadia, the guy that accepted the job and decided to leave. I'll tell Nigerians what happened, why he left the job and why he didn't take the job. And I'll also tell you what the NFL did to get us into this situation. It's a very bad situation. But again, I hope that we'll get out of it. We have Osimhen Eguavon, we are playing against Benin Republic, and we're also playing against Rwanda. I hope we qualify for the Nations Cup and the World Cup. I want Nigeria to be in Canada, US and Mexico, so that we can go there and have fun.
Exactly. I want to fly to US and Mexico. Yeah. Go and do my vacation and watch the World Cup.
He's a citizen of Canada, you know.
We are both citizens. Thank you, guys. I love you. Bye. Cheers, guys. Cheers, guys.